Y'all, what is good? It's Shada Sage returning for another amazing video. What's good? What's poppin'? Happy Sunday. Um, Big shout out to Haru, Archangel Michael, and Ra, okay, for Sunday. Okay. Again, of course, you know I like to start by saying giving gratitude for everybody who's been watching, subscribing, and commenting. I really do appreciate it. And we're going to go ahead and get into the topic, okay? So today's topic, okay, we're going to do a lot more science today, okay? Because again, I like to give you a practical view of things, okay? And this topic is a little controversial depending on the angle in which you're perceiving it. And I also do want to make a disclaimer to YouTube, okay? Hello, YouTube. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is only satire, okay? So I want to make that disclaimer. YouTube, this is entertainment purposes only. This is only satire. All right. So to get into it, so I titled this video, "Why Are Humans Obsessed with Celebrities?" And I also want to talk about, I want to conjoin that with the worship gene and human origins. Okay. So I remember a while ago I said that I wanted to make a video that might cause an existential crisis. This might be that video. Okay. I first want to start off by saying uh, humans are a manufactured species. Okay. For centuries and millennia, humans have been trying to find out where they come from. Okay. And as much as they may want that answer, a lot of humans are not ready for that answer. Okay. So I want to start by saying humans are a manufactured species. Okay. Human beings are genetically a genetic experiment. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you why. All right. So here on Earth, you have a plethora of resources. Okay. And Earth has waterfalls, gold, certain crystals. Okay, Earth is very rich in resources. Okay, this is probably one of the most unique dimensions where you can get physical resources. And there are other beings who have experienced Earth prior to humans becoming Homo sapiens. Okay, so they kind of gave you an example of what that looks like in Transformers. How the Autobots and Decepticons, they did visit Earth long before the modern human. It's the same thing with this planet. Okay, so on this planet, okay, there were beings who were primate-like in nature, called Homo erectus. All right. Now, the Homo erectus was extremely I wouldn't say they were the smartest, but they developed, you know, communities and certain kind of technologies like for fishing and hunting and things like that, but they weren't really doing anything. And because this earth is so full of resources, there are these beings. They are called we call them the Anunnaki. Okay, we do not know what they call themselves, but just how other races of extraterrestrials have visited this planet. So the main ones were the Anunnaki. Okay, now the Anunnaki were are dark skinned extraterrestrial species who are very smart and they're very intelligent and they are very advanced, just like most extraterrestrials. Okay, um, it was a scientist called Norman Brigham. Okay, no, I think that's his name, Norman Brigham. He had a book called The Rings of Saturn. Okay, and in the Rings of Saturn, uh, when he was, you know, observing the Rings of Saturn, he said he saw these tall, dark beings hop out of a craft, if you should say. Okay, so if you already follow me, you already know we talk about extraterrestrials on this bitch. Okay, you was two you too far behind if you don't think that extraterrestrials are very real. Okay, but Norman Brigham recorded seeing the Anunnaki, and he described them as large, dark humanoid beings in the rings of Saturn. Okay, he made a book about it. If you were to look at the book, in order to purchase the book is extremely expensive. It's running. Honestly, let me check that right now. It runs extremely high. Okay, because it's a lot of information in there. But let me look it up. But it's a book called The Rings of Saturn, where this white scientist, he discovered or looked at the Anunnaki, basically. So these are beings that are real. In the Sumerian text, Sumerians, they call them gods. Okay, so if you look at the Sumerian walls, they have the Anunnaki painted as really huge, large, just as Norman Brigham described. And look, just as Dave described. And let me get my shit together. 1995, The Rings of Saturn. How much is this book worth? Let me see if I can buy it. No. Hold on. Norman Brigham. Okay. Oh, it's called The Ringmakers of Saturn. My apologies. Okay, but it's called The Ringmakers of Saturn. Okay. 25th. Okay. Well, it went down a lot last time. I checked like some years ago. This is when I first got into when I first checked. Now they probably edited it. I remember I tried to look at the same book from this was like 2016, 17. That shit was like $3,000. Okay, but now they got it on sale for like $40, $30, $500. So either they probably severely edited it or they just, by Norman Brigham. Okay. Anyway, okay. So yeah, the Anunnaki are basically responsible for the creation of humanity. Okay. So prior to Homo sapiens, okay, there were Homo erectus. Okay. Now I do not. I'm gonna give you a disclaimer. I do not subscribe to Darwinism. Okay. I like to take concepts. Okay, and if they make sense, because that's the whole purpose of doing research. You take one concept and you see with other sources from different people if they align with this particular concept. Okay, so if you look at evolution of man, okay, so if you look at this right here, y'all seen this in the school books and shit. I'm gonna show y'all because I like to give graphics. Okay, so this is supposed to be the evolution. Put my microphone right here. You know what I mean? What I'm saying. All right. So this is supposed to be the evolution of humanity. Okay. You got. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Homo erectus. Now they might have added somebody right here. Homo neanderthal. I don't know how to pronounce that. And then here go Homo sapiens. Now, this is what I be saying. Because I know I'm gonna sound crazy. Listen. Until I saw this image, there was no common ancestor between Homo erectus and Homo sapiens. Okay. And I know this video all over the place, but I swear it's going somewhere. Okay. So prior to a Homo sapiens, there were Homo erectus. Okay. Now the Anunnaki, and I have researched, according to like the University of what do you call that? The National University of Australia. The question was asked, why do they think Homo erectus died? Okay, and they claim that it was partially because they were lazy. Okay, that was with the Australian National University found that Homo erectus, they went extinct partially because they were lazy. All right, now that does kind of make sense because how I'm assuming it, like I said, this is just theory, but a lot of it does make sense. I'm breaking down with science. Okay, I'm gonna assume that because here's the supposed story. Okay, Earth has a lot of resources. Anunnaki needs resources, just like how other races of extraterrestrials, they all have their own problems. Okay, the Lyrians always battled the Draconians. Okay, this is why you have Thundercats. Okay, Thundercats is a physical representation of the war between the ongoing war between the Lyrian race, and the Draconian race. Okay, Thundercats, the old TV show from the 90s. Y'all know about it. If you don't know about it, I don't tell you. Okay, so Anunnaki needed resources. Homo erectus was here. Homo erectus really wasn't doing anything. So what they did was they took the genetics of the Homo erectus. Okay, they mixed it with their DNA. Okay, now mind you, we're talking about first man plus first woman. Okay, so when you visualize these people, of course you're going to they were dark skinned. Okay, they were melanated because sometimes in the Bible they refer to God as they refer to God sometimes as aliens. Okay, and there's a reason why they say that, because even in, like I said, even in Sumerian text, they kind of hyped the Anunnaki up. They hyped these people up. They put them on a pedestal, and there was a reason for that. Okay, so basically Anunnaki came, upgraded Homo erectus to Homo sapiens by integrating their DNA. So Homo erectus was it. They was just some type of primates. Okay, so I know this might be a little triggering because sometimes a lot of black theologists like to argue that, and I know it can be kind of triggering due to, like, you know, white people colonizing and try to tell us our story and rewriting history, things like that. A lot of black theologists try to argue that we didn't come from primates, but we did. Okay, so Homo erectus was a form of a primate. Okay, and when the Anunnaki came, they manufactured humans to gather resources for them. Okay, and in the midst of developing these new humans, because we know that genetics splicing is real. Okay, the CIA, FBI, they all do this stuff. Okay, you can see it a little bit with GMO food. Now you got to pay attention to the packages that you get, because if it says that your meat, it's like a label that on your meat that says developed from cell cultures. Okay, that's a form of genetic splicing. Cloning. Okay, cloning is a very real thing. All right, that is a form of genetic splicing. There have been experiments where they have grown a lamb from in a plastic incubator. Okay, so these things are not far-fetched. Okay, has a lot to do with DNA splicing and DNA reproducing and cloning and things like that. Okay, so Anunnaki needed resources, so it decided to take Homo erectus, who really wasn't doing anything, and make them essentially slaves. Okay, so and in accumulating human DNA, okay, because you need 46 pairs of chromosomes to be a human or to be considered a human. No offense to my people with Down syndrome. Okay, so while they were developing and splicing humans, okay, from Homo erectus to niggas who, that's why we can do shit like this. You feel me? Like Homo erectus couldn't do no shit like this. Homo erectus couldn't speak like this, nigga. Homo erectus couldn't bust no motherfucking move, nigga. This is how humans can move, how we can move now, because it's the extraterrestrial DNA, okay, compared to the orangutan or the gorilla or the, you know what I'm saying, the bonobo monkey. Okay, it's completely different. Okay, now the worship gene. So when they splice human beings, they created what is called the worship gene. Now the current term for the worship gene is called vesicular monoadenine transporter 2. Okay, so it's VMA2T. Okay, now this worship gene, or what they call the vesicular adenine transporter 2, is located, because you got 46 pairs of chromosomes, is located on the 10th pair of chromosomes. Okay, so you got 46 pairs in your chromosomes. On chromosome pair number 10, on the 22nd sector, is where the worship gene lies. Okay, now the worship gene was meant to get humans to obey. Okay, so if I can implant this gene into your body, I can make you do whatever I need you to do because you're going to think and you're going to get pleasure from serving me. Okay. The worship gene is basically the gene that's located in the 10th pair of chromosomes in the human body. Okay. That is responsible for humans' ability to want to worship outside of themselves. Okay. It's literally instilled in humanity. So humanity didn't just come about for a divine reason. Humanity was meant to serve. Okay. They were meant to serve. It made this gene makes you subservient. Okay. If as a human, if I'm here to enslave you and I created you so you can mine these resources for me, an extraterrestrial being. And like I said, the story is very true because if you look at the movie Prometheus, okay, watch the movie Prometheus. Prometheus is the origin story to the series Alien. Okay. So Prometheus was basically about these people, they find this planet, and then they discover these beings who created humanity. Now the beings want to destroy humanity by creating Alien, the deadly symbiote being to destroy humanity because for whatever reason they want humanity destroyed now. Okay. So in the movie Prometheus, they explain that to you. Hey, humanity was made by these higher beings. Now, of course, they had to make them all white skin. Okay. They had to make these extraterrestrials who made humanity in the movie Prometheus, they had to make them white skinned. Okay. Because if they was to make them any other color, people would have started putting stuff together. Okay. So they instilled the worship gene in humanity. All right. Now, they needed, again, like I said, they needed this gene so humans can work for them. Okay. Now this gene is still instilled in human beings today. Okay. But the only thing about it is the people who run this world, okay, again, they understand occult knowledge and human origins. Okay, because like I said, a lot of texts over the years have been destroyed, distorted, hoarded. Okay, so a lot of these higher societies, like your different masonry lodges, your different how I wouldn't even call them organized religion, but these people are aware of this knowledge. Okay, and this is how they're able to conquer humanity because again, humanity is a naturally subservient race. Okay, the only reason why you were created humanity is to serve. Now at this point in time, you have the ability to choose what you do with your free will. Again, so this is making a lot of sense where not everybody has a soul. Okay, because if the human vessel is a manufactured thing, okay, source, God, or spirit, it doesn't matter what vehicle it's going to take to express itself, it's going to express itself. Okay. And there's a high possibility within the next 5,000 years that the human won't even be on this planet no more. Okay. There's a high possibility, depending on humanity's choices, is a very high possibility that the new humanoid form that's going to be on the planet is going to be robotic. And I don't mean like, oh, iRobot, everybody's taking off. No, first is going to start as the age of Aquarius continues. First is going to start as humans. Okay, if you got an amputated leg, all right. So we've developed this new technology where this is a automatic hand. If you got an amputated, amputated leg. So we're gonna produce a machine that's gonna help you with your amputated leg. Okay, so you need a new heart and you can't find any donors. Okay, so now we're going to incorporate this mechanical heart to pump blood into. It's going to start like that. It's going to start by slowly making humans into cyborgs. Okay, like I said, this is a possible timeline. Like I said, once I'm here, I'm here. But once I'm gone, I'm gone. So whatever happens after I leave, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Okay. So it doesn't matter the vessel. It matters what the vessel decides to do with this consciousness. Okay. We did see that in iRobot. Okay. How Sunny was actually a very, if it's done right, okay, Sonny actually has his own consciousness in iRobot. And Sonny was actually very kind. Okay. And Sonny was an example that you don't need to be a carbon based being to have a soul. Even though he was a robot, he had more consciousness compared to his fellow prototypes. Okay. And it's the same thing with humanity. Just because you can breathe, speak, eat, and produce a language, it doesn't make you civil. Okay. So understanding that humanity was developed out of a science experiment to harvest resources for an extraterrestrial race. Okay. You need to start there. Okay. And then a lot of people are complaining about, wages and things like that and being able to work. But literally that's what y'all are meant for, to work. Unless some of y'all now with the worship gene, because I'm going a little too fast. All right, it's a lot on my mind right now. With the worship gene, you can turn that bitch off. Okay. Now again, I say my methods. Now, this is how it is. Some people are born with it off because I got a theory, but it's a very good theory. Okay. When they integrated their DNA with Homo erectus, some people had more extraterrestrial DNA and other people had more Homo erectus DNA. Okay. Some of us are born with more alien DNA. Okay. This is why we're able to understand concepts easy like science. We're able to be what they call free thinkers. Okay. We're able to conceptualize higher thought outside of a master, because some humans who are born, some humans still have connection to that Anunnaki DNA when it was, spliced with the Homo erectus. Okay. And others are more primitive. Okay. I told y'all about this. These are the people who get mad easy. These are the people who are not conscious of their choices. These are the people, if the government told them the sky was gonna be orange and little duckies was gonna rain tomorrow, they'll be anticipating the sky being orange and little duckies was gonna rain tomorrow. That is the difference. It's the exact same thing, and like I said, it's controversial. It's the exact same thing when if you have children. You can tell if your child is your child based on how y'all get along. Okay? Because the basis of family is friendship. Can we respect each other as friends? If you and your baby are beefed out all the time, that's not your child. That's the other person's child. Okay? Because we tend to take on more of, now you can be both. I'm not saying that, I'm not thinking dogmatic here. You can be both. Okay. But it's the same thing with children. Some children you have, they're yours. Some children you have that they're other person's. Okay. Like how some women get pregnant, they be having all the, and a man is kind of toxic. He come from a fucked up, if your man come from a fucked up bloodline and you decide to have that baby gonna be draining you. And yeah, the baby just gonna be draining you, honey. It's not gonna feel like you're bonding with your child. It's going to feel like your child is more draining you like a parasite. Okay. That's how you know your child is your child. If y'all get along, if y'all be, if y'all get along better. Okay. Now it depends on your point of reference, where you coming from and your intentions. Okay. If you are just a horrible fucking person and you're not getting along with your kids, that's a different story. Okay. But it's the same thing with this genetic splicing with the worship gene shit. So there are some humans who have taken on, who are more connected to the Anunnaki DNA, and there are other humans who are more connected to the Homo erectus. Okay. Now, even in the times when humans were first developed, they knew that. They knew that there are some humans who are more subservient, and there are other humans who are not more subservient. They understand certain concepts. They understand, especially if you was a female, because there was a lot of so this is why sometimes in the Bible, in certain ancient texts, they say that the angels were having sex with humans. No, that was just an allegorical story how extraterrestrials, particularly the Anunnaki, they would mate with certain female humans. Okay, again, reproducing that extraterrestrial DNA. Okay, so if you somebody like me who was born on the more, because I came out the womb not giving a fuck. Okay, I was very always got popped in the mouth. Like I said, I did what I wanted to do. I was very primal, but I was very smart. Okay. Still to this day, can't nobody tell me what the fuck to do. Do you understand me? I came out the womb doing what the fuck I wanted to do, saying what the fuck I wanted to do, thinking how the fuck I wanted to think. And after 30 years, next month I'll be 31. Nothing has changed. I still do what the fuck I want to do. Because why? I don't think I was born with the worship gene like that. Not for real. Now, that's one way you can turn it off. Now, another way you can turn off the worship gene, okay, is crown chakra work. That's the best way. That's the best way I can tell you. Because I can tell you, I don't have like practical solutions for y'all because everything I do, like when it's healing and shit like that, and oh, give me tips for grounding and tips. I don't have no tips for grounding because everything I do is through the mind. Like so, and my mind is very strong, so I can't really tell y'all how to turn off the worship gene. But again, some people are born with it more off. Okay, some people are more connected to the alien DNA or the reptilian mind. Okay, what they call it, and some people you can turn it off by doing crown chakra work. Okay, so I'm saying all that to say because of the worship gene, this is why a lot of humans are obsessed with celebrity culture. Okay, um, because the people who orchestrated this world, they understand that about humans. I genuinely do believe that humans cannot govern themselves. I genuinely believe that humans were there are a good 1% handful who are actually leaders and who are actually more, you could say, tapped into that more, who have the worship gene turned off. But I genuinely do believe that majority of humanity are like children and they need to be told what to do. Humanity cannot govern itself. Okay. As much as humanity wants to be free, especially from its government, humanity is extremely irresponsible, like children. And like I said, the only thing that gives humans an advantage is because the Anunnaki mixed their DNA with the Homo erectus. Okay. If them niggas would have just left motherfuckers alone, ain't no telling what kind of humans will be running this planet. Okay. So to all my black theologists, I am so sorry. Y'all don't want to hear this, but yes, humans did come from a former primate. However, we are also part extraterrestrial. Some of us, not all of us. Like I said, some of us are actually monkeys and apes. Okay. The only thing is I can't. Yeah, like I really can't. I really don't know what else to say now. It get a little deeper because then I would have to explain how other races got here, like the Dravidian and the Caucasoid and the Mongoloid. Okay. I don't want to get too deep into that right now because it's a lot of different nuances that go into that. Okay. But they are also responsible for. They are also a product of genetic splicing. But the difference between the Negroid and the Caucasoid, the Dravidian and the Mongoloid is they all have other different animals incorporated into their DNA. You know, no shade, no shade. No, I'm not even trying to be funny. That's really true. Like the Mongoloid, the Dravidian, and the Caucasoid, they have other. They're taken from the Homo sapien. They're taken from the Negroid, which is a combination between Homo erectus and Anunnaki DNA. Okay. And then as a result, from the Negroid came the Dravidian, the Mongoloid, and then the Caucasoid. Okay. Through genetic splicing and taking other animals. to splice those different people together. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say on that. So this is why, again, back to the worship gene. Those who are in control of the world, they understand the worship gene. This is how they're able to get humanity to be subservient. Okay, this is why sometimes they use celebrities to I don't want to say push an agenda, but yeah, push an agenda if it came down to it. Now you got to be discerning of who's pushing an agenda, because some of the people that y'all do be thinking that be pushing an agenda really just be being themselves. Okay, and I'm not gonna lie, I think the perfect example of the worship gene in a negative way, no shade, no cheat, is Nicki Minaj in the bars. Okay, because with the worship gene, if I have this supplanted in your 10th chromosome, okay, because you believe that I'm God, okay, so I can get you to work tirelessly, I can get you to kill for me, I can get you to steal for me, I can get you to lie for me. Okay, that's the purpose of the worship gene. Is I can get you to do whatever I want you to do, steal, kill, rob, lie for me, okay, whatever. Give me your firstborn child, okay. If I can convince you to do that by genetically splicing you, then you can do whatever. I can get you to do whatever I want. So I like to use this example. No shade, no tea. I respect her as an artist. Nicki Minaj in the bars. Okay, the bars are a bunch of unhealthy people. Okay, and I want to use that as an example because over simple disagreements with other people, the bars had literally like found people's addresses, made death threats against other certain people, because of what was being said about Nicki Minaj. Okay, like the Nicki Minaj fans are not like crazy. Not even a word. Okay, crazy is understatement. That's a perfect example of the worship gene on the other polarity. Nicki Minaj in the bars. Okay, now I can say a lighter polarity of the worship gene would be like Michael Jackson. Okay, Michael Jackson stood still for over 10 minutes and people passing out. Okay. And I know humanity don't like, I know people don't like to believe or admit it, but I think Michael Jackson was the closest thing to Jesus Christ since the documentations of Jesus Christ have been produced. Okay. Um, there's nothing on that's nothing that you can't convince me otherwise. I do believe that Michael was made, and I am going to talk about Michael Jackson on one of my videos, but it's a little, but it's the truth. It needs to be spoken about. Not in the way that y'all think. Hold on, before y'all start wandering, it's not to be gonna be the way that y'all think. But I'm just saying, okay. I am gonna speak about Michael Jackson, okay. But another, you could say a positive aspect of the worship gene would be Michael Jackson, okay. He would make motherfuckers pass out. Okay, people was crazy over Michael Jackson. Okay, thousands of thousand part people just following Michael Jackson. Okay, nigga had to have armies just to protect him. I'm talking about millions of people outside his hotel room, thousands of people crowded on the street for one man. The worship gene. Okay. Please turn the worship gene off, or you can keep it on. Okay. The choice is yours. Okay. But if you want to know why humans are obsessed with something outside of themselves, it's because early human origins were produced by extraterrestrials to do labor for them. And in the midst of splicing them and creating our chromosomes, was inserted on the 10th chromosome was inserted the worship gene, aka the vesicular monoamine transporter 2. Okay, scientists now call it the VMAT2. Okay, you can look that shit up right now. Okay, that shit is very real. Okay, it's what makes humans subservient. So that's pretty much it. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and wrap it on up. Hold on, yeah, I'm reading comments. I only disagree with what you said. Some of us are humans, might be able to work a job. I think it's unnatural for some of us that don't want to work a job to be forced. You don't have to work a job. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like y'all keep thinking like, but you don't have to work a job. Is it gonna be a little harder? Yes. But you don't have to work a job. Like I said, you don't like I said, that's the difference between free will. If you feel like you really don't want to have to work a job, now if you got kids and you saying you don't want to work a job, nigga, I don't know what to tell you, that's how I love the kids. No shade to my parents, but yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Now you got kids, nigga, I don't know what you got. But if you by yourself single, you don't have to work a job. That's what I'm saying. Like y'all be letting this world manipulate y'all free will. If I don't want to do something, I'm not gonna do it. I knew I wasn't working. But you're gonna have to find another way to make money. And the way to make money is through creativity. Get on the camera, do something, sell something. Okay. Technology, that's what technology is for. Okay. But y'all be letting the matrix create a hell for y'all. No, I knew that shit. Like my parents, you tell me, yeah, you're gonna go to work, go to school, get a job. Something in that shit just did not fit right with my spirit. I could not see myself doing that. And I'm black. So Black Americans, the only way Black Americans can escape generational poverty is through nursing. I did CNA work for maybe a few months, bro. I knew that shit went for me, bro. And it was because, and I know it's gonna sound kind of fucked up, but humans are very needy. Okay, there's always gonna be a human in need. Like I knew I wanted to help people, but working in CNA made me realize, being a CNA made me realize that there are other ways to help people. Because every day I would go home to work, from work, it's like, okay, I start over. And being a CNA means you got to work in geriatrics, working with old people. So it's basically like I'm present. Like that's how I thought about it. I know it sounds kind of fucked up, but this be my dark side. It's like I'm being stressed out to preserve you until you die. That's pretty much it. Like I didn't feel like that was helping people. Like I felt like this job will be better suited for somebody who didn't have the mind that I have. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta love, I don't know, I can't explain. You gotta love yourself enough to be like, that shit is beneath me. I'm sorry. Some shit should be beneath you. Like me, take no shade, no tea to people who trump public transportation. But I don't give a fuck how bad life get. I'm not taking a bus. I don't give a damn. Now, if I like lived in New York, okay, like I'll take the subway. Everybody in my mom take the subway. But I don't give a fuck how. That's what I'm saying. Like some of us have to work, nigga. No, you don't. Now, unless you got kids, nigga, you gotta work. I'm sorry. But take the income that you're making for your work and try to make other income from it, like what I did in the Navy. I used my money from when I was in the Navy. I started my channel, started doing my natal chart readings, and I was supporting my stripper career. So I had 3 incomes, but I had no kids. So it's a different story. Okay, it's a completely different thing going on. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So yeah, in conclusion, the human race, y'all was meant to work. Okay, now some of us who are more connected to extraterrestrial DNA are a little more sovereign. Some people, and it's a high vibration. Yeah, it's not a high vibrational place because, like, it might have been cool, like in the 90s, like shit like that might have been like the nursing and shit might have been more tolerant. And like I said, Black people, if you don't want to do nursing, you don't have to do nursing. Okay, the only reason why Black people do nursing because it's the only way that they think it's basically the safest way to get out of generational poverty. Okay, I just knew that shit wasn't for me. So yeah. So in conclusion, humanity was meant to work. But you can turn off your worship gene. You can turn off your worship gene to I don't know, through mentalism, or start with the crown chakra, do some crown chakra meditations. And then once worship gene is turned off, you will have to be forced to look it within. Okay, I didn't explain that. So the worship gene, when you turn it off, it makes you look within. You have no choice to look within. So people who still have the worship gene activated, again, these are your people who are more, I'm looking outside myself. Okay, I need to give to something that I feel is higher than me. So this is how religion, because a religion is a business. Okay, religion is a business. This is how, and that's just really what it is, bro. Like humanity, and it depends on your free will and how conscious you are. Somebody is siphoning your energy. So whether it's your labor, whether it's your time, whether it's your attention, your energy is being siphoned. Okay. Now, again, it's people like me. I'm here to help humanity because I'm here to tell y'all, hey, there are different options that you can take. Okay. But the whole existence of your origins was to be a slave, be subservient. Now you can change because you got free will. Can't nobody impede on your free will, not even God. God can't even impede on your free will. That's why when they made the fucking worship gene on your 10th chromosome, okay, that's why it was ability to turn it on and off. Okay, because you gotta give people an option. Okay, so even the Anunnaki know that to a degree. Well, some are smarter than others. Like just because some extraterrestrial race is advanced, just like humans, there are some who are more in higher positions of power and some who are in lower positions of power. Because like I said, so the niggas who made humanity, they just weren't no regular niggas. They niggas who knew scientists. Now, other extraterrestrial races and shit, they got their own role to play and shit. Okay. So free will, you have to, what do you want done with your free will? Like I just can't imagine that. I don't like somebody, and maybe it's the Aries in me. I don't like somebody telling me what to do. I don't like somebody that, like, just that thought alone just makes me very angry and I get irritated. Like, and if you're not feeling like that, then I don't know what to tell you. Then okay, then just continue to be somebody's cattle. But that is something that I think y'all do need to know. Humanity was meant to work and to slave away. Okay, and the people who run this world, you can call them the Illuminati or whatever. Okay, I don't even think that's even the final group. Okay, the people who run this world, they understand that. So this is how they're able to build the world to uh serve them, because they know how to manipulate the worship gene in humanity, and they use celebrities to do it. Yeah, do whatever makes you happy, baby. Yeah. Yeah, I do admit, yeah, working with geriatrics, it was like being a correctional officer, because it's like, why the fuck is y'all 86? And me working as a CNA did teach me a lot too, because that was a seeing it, because you hear it like, okay, age don't define maturity, but it's a difference between seeing it. It's a difference between conceptualizing it and actually seeing it with your two eyes. Like, you 86 years old. Why is y'all arguing over a cup of juice, bro? That's when I knew. That's when I knew, like, yeah, I can't do this no more. Yeah, and it's like you at a juvenile detention center. Like, motherfuckers used to be 80, 70, 80 years old over and over a carton of apple juice, bro. And then you gotta be responsible, and then you gotta mitigate, mind you. This before I was 25. So I'm like, no, actually, just before I was 21, before I joined the military. I was like 18, like 20. Yeah, I was like 20, 19 years old. Frontal lobe ain't even developed. And this is what I be saying, like, I don't know, like, I get it, like, freedom, and I kind of understand why. Like I said, I understand why, though, humanity needs to be governed, because in order, freedom comes with responsibility and making choices. You feel me? Like I'm not gonna lie, like, I got this little, you know what I'm saying? I don't call him a twin flame, but I think he here to activate me. But it's just like, I'm starting to realize you might have a victim mindset, because you claim you drowning in a 3 feet pool and you got the freedom to do what you want to do, but you're not making the choices to, you're just not making the correct choices to fucking align. Like, Like, nigga, if you know you had heart problems and health problems, okay, you said you fainted because you had high blood pressure, okay, and then the same day, nigga, you in the driveway and in and out. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I don't even want to tell his business like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just say he in the legal system. You know what I'm saying? He's Hispanic. You know, it's Hispanic dude. You know what I'm saying? I like him foreign. You know what I'm saying? Except for my women, I like my women black, but my men, I like them foreign. Anyway, don't get mad at me. Niggas been doing it for centuries, nigga. I just okay, but it's like you in the legal system. You know you're not supposed to be drinking, and then you almost got caught up because you was drinking. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of understand why the people who rule this world, they do need humanity to follow them, because to have freedom is to make responsible choices. You know what I'm saying? And like seeing somebody that I like not make responsible choices, it's like what the hell you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of understand why the worship gene is necessary, because humans, like I said, humans are kids. Some people make the dumbest decisions. Like, y'all know how I feel about bringing kids into poverty. You ain't got 2 quarters to rub together. I'ma still have this baby though. It's gonna be me and my baby. Stupid as fuck. Stupid than a motherfucker. Okay. So certain things I can't have, certain things I just can't have sympathy for. So I understand why the Illuminati, or whatever you call them, the powers that be, okay. I understand why they govern the world. Do I condone, like I said, I don't condone every method. I don't condone the other things that they do on the side. But having control of the world and then using humanity for resources, absolutely. Because y'all don't know what to do with freedom. That's why people be going to jail. You know what jail for? Jail is for people who can't make good decisions. And you know what happens? Because you can't make good decisions when you outside. Okay, now I gotta institutionalize you because you can't make good decisions. Okay. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I hope y'all watch all of this video, honey. Yeah, before Alexander the Great, yeah. Yeah. And that's this fucked up when you're working in the CNA. Like, most of them are there because of poor choices. It could be poor choices in health. Again, health. Okay, that's one thing I'm realizing as I'm getting older. Health is very important. Like taking vitamins and shit and working out. Like, you should not be having back problems before 30, bro. I'm sorry. You should like when you go up the stairs, like your knee shouldn't be hurting. And you 33. Okay. Talking about, oh, my shit tight. Oh, I slipped on the wrong. That's concerning. Okay. This is why I be up. Okay. I be up active, doing 120 on leg curls. Cause I'm not about to be on no fucking I'm not about to be on no fucking in no fucking wheelchair. So yeah, the working as a CNA, yeah, a lot of people do, and it's draining because it's like, now you got to make my life difficult because one, you probably didn't take care and treat your family right. That's probably why your ass is in there. Okay, you probably didn't treat your kids right. You probably abandoned your kids because you wanted to rip and run the streets. I seen that with a lot of the men. You know, kids never came to visit them. Okay. And then when they, like I said, the nursing home was so messy. And then, people were getting jealous because one person's family visited them and another person's didn't. And like I said, your family, especially if you're a mother, your kids just don't turn on you, honey. That's what I be saying. Your kids just don't turn, because your kids need you. Okay, your kids just don't be turning on you. I be saying that. Like, motherfuckers can play victim all day long. Your kids really just don't turn on you. I mean, unless you, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, honey. But yeah, so that's why I be working out and shit and take care of yourselves, because I don't want to enter no fucking nursing home. But like I said, again, that comes with decisions. So you telling me you didn't spend 70 years eating bullshit, not even walking a mile a day, and then now you're in a nursing home getting bed sores and shit because you can't move. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm out this thing. I've exceeded my time. I was supposed to end this like 20 minutes ago. So uh till next time, buy a reading. You know where to find me. I'll be back on here in a few days. Peace out.